just go back to the beginning and try to do this thing a little more simply. Alright, so I decided to go back to the beginning because I've concluded that there really is no one point where I decided I'm going to live in a school bus. In fact, probably up until about 5 years ago, I wouldn't have even considered it, between when I was born and probably about the age of 17, 18, 16, somewhere in there, trying to get my years straight. So I'll try to go in chronological order here, but I'm not going to promise anything. I'm also not going to promise that my pronunciation will be the best because it's just been kind of off today. So when I was about 5, I was interested in large vehicles, as every 5-year-old boy is. But more importantly, I kind of had this small interest in buses. And it was mainly just the fact that I didn't know what a school bus was like, and from watching television shows like Arthur and Caillou, I was intrigued to actually ride a school bus. And so I think when I was enrolled in band or in the public school for something, at one point I was actually able to go on a field trip where I rode in a bus for an hour or so, and that was just like the best thing in the world. And so after that, I had a few other situations where I went to a school event and we rode in the school bus, and probably the last time I remember riding in a school bus was my last concert band in high school. And when you're in high school, riding on a bus isn't as cool as it is when you're 8, 10 years old. So let's just say that everyone agrees on that. And so about when I got out of high school, and a little bit before that even, I'd say my interest in school buses just kind of dropped down to just this kind of, they're interesting, they're cool. Of course, shows like The Magic School Bus still lingered in my mind. Like, it would be really cool to have a school bus like that. And so fast forward to probably about a year or 2 ago, maybe 3, I saw on a television station, I don't remember what a station is, but I saw a family with 2 young children, and obviously the mom and the dad decided they wanted to live a more minimal lifestyle because they had this big house and they had this money, but they really weren't getting to enjoy it because of the jobs they were doing. And so that just kind of clicked for me, because at the time I was like, that kind of sounds like a lot of people today. They get stuck in this system of paying rent, of buying a house, of getting fixed to one place because of their job or the fact that they have so much debt because of college or their house or whatever. And so I was like, I really don't want to get stuck in that system. I've always wanted to travel ever since I was little too. And so probably that was when my interest in it really got spiked back up in getting a school bus and wanting to convert it into what I eventually learned was a Schoolie. And then, just a second. So yeah, that's when my interest really got into it. And so I started looking, particularly on Facebook, sale groups for school buses. And let's just say any school bus you want to buy is going to be expensive, whether you do it from an auction or someone personal. I was lucky and was able to get a very nice school bus, only a few years old. I think it's like a 98 or 2000, I'm not exactly sure. All I know is that it's not brand new, but it's about, if not younger than me. So that's young for me and for a school bus. And so I bought that after at least a year of looking. I found it, and it was actually owned by a guy who also wanted to do the same thing with his family. It's just it was more of a commitment than he was really looking for. And so I bought it from him for $2,000. He made sure everything was working real nice on it because he was a mechanic, and he just set me up real nice. And I thank him for that. In case he sees this video or someone in his family sees this video, I appreciate your contribution in that way. Even though I bought it from you for $2,000, it was still nice that you were willing to offer that, because I've seen them go for a lot more, and it was just really generous that you just stuck to that price for me. And so I bought my first school bus about a year ago, I think I said that, and started work on it this last January. So it hasn't been quite a year yet. It will be a year probably by the time I get this video up. And so I started work on that. It was really slow at first. The first couple months was nothing but demolition. I didn't even get to any renovation stuff till like mid-summer, end of summer, which I was really hoping on getting a lot further with it than I did or have so far. But I still made a lot of progress. In case you haven't seen my latest video, it has the installation, it has the new floor. I just need to do wiring, which is the biggest one because it's behind the walls and it's kind of, you gotta know where things are going to be. Plumbing isn't quite as hard because it's just straight up and down with the sinks and the shower, and that's pretty much it. Like, that shouldn't take me more than a couple days once I get to there. And then just the finishing touches pretty much after that is done. And actually learning how to drive a school bus, which I do plan on doing next time they have the course available. Like, they have their intro online course for the college I go to available year round, so I might start that in the fall while I'm finishing up my associates, and then do their second part of that course, which is free, but they only have specific times of the year that they're doing it. So that way I know how to drive one, and it just makes me a little more comfortable. And so that's kind of the background of how I got to owning a bus and wanting to do a schoolie, because I didn't want to get stuck in this trap of putting like hundreds of dollars a month into rent and not really getting that back out at the end of your time there. And with a school bus, it's a lot of upfront cost. I'm probably at least, not counting the cost of the school bus, $2,000 into it right now through renovation stuff. Just with what I've done with the insulation, the plywood, cleaning things up, tearing things out. But you know, it's money that, while it's a sunk cost, I'm not losing it because I still have the bus and I still have all the stuff I put into it. It's not like I'm paying money into a rent for some apartment or someone's house and I'm gonna lose it. And so that was really the big thing for me. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, the traveling. I just feel that I need to travel. Like, where I live is kind of just like in the middle of the middle of the middle of a really boring state of a really boring country. And I just feel like I could get out more, at least within my country, and explore my country in that school bus. And I've even seen some people who somehow get their boats on these larger ships. Their schoolies on these larger ship boats. That's where I got the boats from. I was thinking boat, ship. and they're able to go to other countries and drive around there. Now, I don't think I'd be that willing to do that, but at least explore this country a little bit more instead of staying in this small area where it's fairly uneventful. That's not to say I won't do more to invest in here and make it better as I get older, but while I'm still fairly young, I would like to go and explore and travel and just do all this stuff that I've always wanted to do. And so the Schoolie just seems like a really great outlet for me for doing that. There's also a lot of spiritual reasons behind it, which more or less probably have been there the whole time, because I became a Christian and accepted Christ as my Savior probably around the age of 4 or 5.